Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting for September 7th to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please stay standing. We're going to have a moment of silence for the passing of Chief Chad Weaver. Thank you. There were no executive sessions held. Past meeting minutes for approval.
Got no changes.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussions and presentations. We have Adamstown Library here to do a presentation. Stand out front here. Thank you.
I don't need to point at, so I'm like, I don't know where to go. Okay. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight about the library. So my name is Carolyn Rice. I'm the director of the Adamstown Area Library. And it brings me great joy to share with you some of the highlights of the inspiring work that we do. So if you do have your packet, you can follow along. So just so you guys know. But yeah, so year after year, we are re-energized by the people that we are really honored to serve. The new program that we introduce is met by gratitude and celebration. It's an ongoing exchange and conversation, a cycle where we're offering things and we're receiving feedback, and it fosters a deep sense of connection with our community members and really helps inspire our work. So if you go to the next page, I always like to include our mission, just to make sure that's always the guiding light for us, always what we're striving to do. So just as far as today, I'm just excited to share some of the ideas envisioned by our passionate staff and the people in the communities that we have that are continuing to shape the future of the Adamstown Area Library. So we launched some new services this year that are helping our patrons thrive, and we're opening up opportunities for discovery, creativity, and inquiry. All of our offerings, all of our resources and our events play a key role in positively impacting the lives of our community members. So next page. So the library makes a positive impact. You can see this was from a survey that we did over the summer, and the majority of our library patrons rate the library favorably, trust the library, and feel that library services improve the quality of life. So again, just very inspiring for us. We want to keep keeping those numbers up. Next page, there are three colors, and it's hard to see, that just are their numbers. So the graphs all kind of look the same. It's not a very exciting spreadsheet because they all look pretty much the same, but that makes sense. So you can see quarter three, which is just 2 months so far, into August, is already about a third of the whole year so far. So that's just going to be continuing to grow. Our programming and services continue to grow every single month. So through August, we had 386 programs, both at the library and out in the community, with over 11,000 participants. We had 1,643 teens and kids participate in summer reading this year, which is about 200 more than participated last year. And last year, we were like blown away with that number. So we have even more, which is just so great. And then we had over 93,000 circulations, which if you want to think about it in terms of the number of items in our library, if you came in, looked around at all the shelves, every single thing, one of those things was checked out 3 times so far this year. That's what that number looked like. Okay. And then the next page is some more numbers for you. So 33% of our service area has a library card, an active library card. So it's been in use in the last 3 years. East Cocalico is just a bit higher at 35% of the community has an active library card. And then as you can see, we've just been dedicating a lot more funds into our digital downloads just because that increase in numbers is absolutely insane. The funding model, I've spoken about it before, it's just a little bit different for digital materials, whereas I could get an audiobook by Stephen King for like $45 at the library, as many people who want to check it out can. If I'm purchasing that exact same thing as an e-audiobook, it's $150 and only 20 people can check it out. So it's definitely a little bit tricky to manage, but because the demand is so high, we continue to provide more and more funding into that area. Next. So the Adamstown Area Library is here for you. And some of the photos are hard to see, but they don't relate to what I'm talking to. I just like the photos, and I like you guys to see what just the fun stuff that's happening at the library. So we began offering home delivery in 2020 for obvious reasons. We did that for people who were homebound or they weren't able to get out of the house to get to the library. And we are continuing to offer that service to allow the community to have more opportunity to borrow materials. We just want to ensure that people have access to the library when they want and where they want. And those who have utilized this service has just made it just very clear how much they appreciate us being able to continue to provide that. We are thrilled to again be partnering with Real Life Community Services for their Young at Heart program, which is for seniors age 60 plus. We have a really great group of people who come in twice a month to the library. There's speakers, there's games, there's crafts, just an opportunity for people to get out and just meet other community members. We've actually had so many attendees and so much interest that they've had to expand it to now every single week. And the other weeks they go over to Swamp Church. We're hoping that when we finish our construction project with our new community room, we'll be able to have everybody at the library all the time. And then ACP. So the library is committed to supporting the community through financial challenges that some people have in getting access to the internet. So in September and October, we are hosting 2 workshops to help those who qualify for it apply for the Affordable Connectivity Program through the Public Library Association's discounted internet. We will be providing free lunches for anyone who attends, and we're also going to be raffling a $100 gift card to Weavers and then 2 $50 gift cards to Turkey Hill. So food and gas and free lunch. All you have to do is hang out with us for 45 minutes and you get that. So we definitely would love to see anybody there. Also to help continue to tear down that barrier for access to the internet, we have 6 public computers and we have 6 laptops that we circulate as well. And then the Adamstown Area Library empowers community. So the Council of Friends unites libraries across Lancaster County during their annual author event. So this year, best-selling crime novelist Robert Dugoni, he joined us and talked about his latest book, Her Deadly Game, which the book was included in the cost of the ticket. And that event raised $13,300, which was divided across the Lancaster County libraries. This year marked the 3rd annual Spring Through Cocalico Scavenger Hunt in partnership with Cocalico Cares. So each year, more participants look forward to visiting a variety of local businesses. 2 Cousins is one of them. They always give us a gift card. Thank you. They just go out to different businesses. They complete their scorecard, and we hope that they do a little shopping or eating as well. So we really love the opportunity to be able to share that event with the community and be able to spread the word about shopping local. So this year's event was a big success, and even bigger than last year. We had 10 new businesses participate, and then we had 14 prizes that we were able to give away, including $100 cash, like I said, gift cards, a night stay at True Hotel, so a lot of really fun stuff. And then working with schools, so obviously the library values literacy and education, so it makes sense that we would collaborate with our local schools. So the photo that's in there is Miss Maribeth, one of our teachers. That's from Back to School Night, where every elementary school, we give one of the teachers a set of books to add to their classroom library. And other ways that we partner with Cocalico School District, we provide a space for kindergarten registration. We provide a space for Title I, which is families with children who need more of a heads up of what's going to be happening in the upcoming school year in math and English. This year we had 7 play and learns, which is like an open play time for kids, and then we also have specialists that come in, so it could be a nutritionist, could be a speech therapist, stuff like that the adults can connect with. Adamstown Area Library thinks imaginatively, so there is something for everybody in our online resources, including materials for readers, for job seekers, for students. The picture books come to life with Tumble books that reads them for them. Readers and audiobook listeners can find a diverse collection of materials with the convenient Libby app. This year, thanks to the support of the library system in Lancaster County, we were able to offer Flipster, which is free e-magazines for our patrons. And then we also offer databases that provide live tutoring, help with job seekers, take practice exams, etc. So yeah, and those are well used, and we're excited to be able to offer that. Last year we launched a new collection of dress-up bags for children to check out. Those have been super popular. We are now up to 32 costumes. Our families, especially our homeschool families, really appreciate and benefit from those. And then along similar lines, just a little plug, at the end of the month, we have our great Halloween costume swap, where families can bring in gently used costumes on the 29th, and then on the 30th, they can come back in and get, a brand new costume, gently used. But again, just trying to think of ways that can help ease the financial burdens for our community, especially because costumes are crazy expensive. Okay. And then, so as you saw, our summer reading, where we brought our community together this year, so we connected with over 1,600 kids and their families as we invited them to build curiosity this summer. And that invitation was enthusiastically accepted. We had families coming out to commune with our, reptiles, with Jesse the reptile guy. We moved our bodies to different, music from around the world. We collaborated to make crafts using upcycled materials, and so much more during our summer reading program. We also host a winter and fall reading program. The fall reading program is live right now, and children ages 0 to 14 can complete that, get a free meal at Texas Roadhouse. So just some fun stuff. And then the library fosters exploration and growth. So the Library of Things, that was launched last summer, and includes lawn games for checkout. So we've seen families just who want something to play with. We've seen people, rent a bunch of them for their wedding. We've seen the school use them for back-to-school events. We've had, class reunions, get a bunch of them. So it's been really neat to see the different ways that people use those. We also have instruments. This neighborhood goes absolutely crazy for ukulele, which is like, I didn't expect it, but we have replaced the strings on that thing so many times. We have technology, we have Google Cardboard, which is like for virtual reality, and we have also mobile hotspots as well, again, to increase that internet access for our patrons. And then part of the magic of the library is how we can offer access to things and places besides our walls. So with the help of the library system, we offer museum passes to about a dozen museums throughout Lancaster County. We actually just got Lancaster Orchestra, so that's going to be coming soon. And then this year we worked with our municipalities, so it's Tommy and the township, to provide a free pass to the pool. So for 2 adults and 4 children could go to the Reevestown pool this summer for free. So that's just been amazing. That was used 12 times this summer, the pool passes. And again, this program is just helping to eliminate financial barriers and give everybody a chance to get in these experiences. And then new at the library is the Prusa MK3S Plus 3D printer that was made possible by a donation from our friends at the library. We are the only library in the county that has a 3D printer in-house. And we'll be conducting workshops on how to use it, how to design and print items. So that's September 14th and then October 19th. And then it will just be available for the public to use $1 per hour for printing as well. And then that last page is just my contact info. So it just continues to be a pleasure to work with the library system in Lancaster County, our generous donors and municipalities, our friends at the library, our volunteers,
questions? No? Thank you for all you guys do as well. Sounds like you're pretty busy.
We're always very busy. So thank you guys so much.
All right, moving on. We're going to table Act 172, credit for the volunteers. We're going to table fire company records policy, and we are going to table fire company apparatus insurance to our next meeting. Next on the list is the DevNet software. Tommy, you want to enlighten us about that?
Yes, I want to recall shortly before I arrived in late January, there was discussion regarding DevNet software made available on the county for the collection of taxes. In Lancaster County, we have 45 municipalities who have deputized the county for the collection of real estate taxes. We have 15 municipalities that have elected tax collectors doing that work. And of all those municipalities, there's just one remaining not using DevNet, and that's us. I was able to visit the county in May, and I test drove the software. And for an older guy who doesn't pick up new programs pretty easily, I did with this. It had a lot of sensible, easy features. The county makes it available to municipalities at no cost, which is nice. It also provides technical assistance and training at no cost. But the biggest advantage of the folks who are using DevNet now is the backup. In the event something happens to a municipal tax collector and any deputies, the county has the ability to serve as an emergency backup. They'll have access to the system in an emergency, and of course, they're fluent in that system. The recommendation of the board was to ask me to go out and take a look, and I think it's worth considering making a recommendation to the tax collector to change softwares to DevNet for the upcoming year.
I think in the past, our tax collector had asked us as well if we were considering that, just to let her know. And is there a dollar amount savings for the township as well, switching over to DevNet, or no?
In terms of printing the tax bills?
Yes.
Yeah, there would be there'd be some savings there. And the county would be doing the tax bills, and the township would be paying a fee for each tax bill mailed. If I recall, it was 75 cents plus the postage.
But it would not be replacing the tax collector's position.
No.
This is just the software to help collect.
Correct.
Is there a transfer of data from the current system to the DevNet, or how does that work?
Yes. Well, the other benefit too is when there's a new property owner, there's any change in the property records, that happens instantly with DevNet. That data is imported directly. So you'd have the benefit of all of those property transfers, the changes in owners' records and so forth, that would happen, and everybody else would get the same information. I asked the county, how much lead time do you need? And they said, well, you give us a heads up at some point in November or December. We can make it work for the coming year, which is a little surprising. I thought they were going to say, hey, you need 3, 4, 5 months, but it's something that folks can pick up pretty quickly. I know I do.
And you said, I was trying to catch earlier, out of all the municipalities, we're the only one not using that software.
Yeah, when we met in May, there were 45 municipalities who had deputized the county to do the work. And of course, the county's going to use its own software. Then there were 15 municipalities that had elected tax collectors who do the work. We're one of the 15. Of the 15, 14 are using DevNet. We're the only ones that.
Lorenzo.
Yes.
Someone under the name of tax collector is with us on Zoom. I assume it would be our tax collector. If you want to go ahead and speak, go right ahead.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me very well. Just a couple of things with moving the DevNet. There's going to be a pretty huge impact to the residents and also to all the mortgage companies. DevNet does have the capability to bill for streetlighted hydrants on the same bill, kind of like what we currently do now. Is the county going to make the streetlight hydrant to be on the same bill, or are we going to have a separate bill?
Yeah, we would have separate bills. And there are municipalities out there that are on DevNet that do their streetlight billing in-house. So, Westboro,
Right, so then everybody will be getting two separate bills on two separate formats. The mortgage companies are going to have a huge impact because they're not used to it. Their cost to get the bulk file is going to increase. So there's going to be a lot of confusion. What type of, because as they're doing separate bills, there could be delays of payment for the streetlight and hydrant tax. Has that been considered at all?
we could also take the collection of streetlight and hydrant tax in-house, as some municipalities have done.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
We could also take it in-house, as some municipalities have done. I don't know of any problems the mortgage companies are having with the other 59 municipalities and the subset
It'll be a
between
separate
streetlights and
bill. They have
hydrants.
to remit on two separate bills. That's going to be something brand new for them. So that is going to be needed to communicate, and then also communicate to the residents. Now, the county may not need that much time, but our residents are going to need a lot of time to understand it. Because they're going to have to be regularly impacted.
Possibly, is there a way to, I mean, if we go down this route to, obviously we'll put it on our website, but maybe mail something to each resident to let them know.
Absolutely.
But obviously we have to vote and agree on it or not, so.
And, you know, if the county uses the software to the capabilities, there would be no problem just having streetlight and hydrant on there. It would be not very little bit of work for them for the system. It would be minimal, but the impact to everybody else of having two invoices would be huge. So if we can like somehow convince the county to use the software to the capability, that would be awesome. Because then there would be no impact to anybody. And well, then the format is a little bit different. Negative impact, I'm sorry. A negative impact.
So Jill, this is Lorenzo. If we were to give a recommendation, would you be in favor of switching to DevNet as well with the process as just described?
What if they go and they put the streetlight and hydrant on one invoice? I'm all for that. I'm absolutely for that. Because there won't be any impact. There'll be very little impact other than a different format of an invoice to the resident. That's my concern, is the residents are going to be impacted.
Jill, it's RC. So what you're saying is if they put streetlight and hydrant on, then it would, the resident would actually see one invoice. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And so they will, the only difference there would be is there'll be a slightly different format. Because our invoices are passbooks and they don't mirror how the county has their invoice. So that would be it.
Okay, so
I think that's the best way. That's like, everybody wins. Everybody wins. and I'm all for that.
So it's RC again. Let me ask this then. Are you saying you've seen that software? Is it capable of doing that?
I have talked to DevNet themselves.
Okay, so the manufacturer,
Actual software provider. The county didn't get the information on that, so I went to DevNet, the software company.
okay, so the software manufacturer, what I'm hearing you say, says they can do that. The question I have for Tommy is, when you talk to the county, did they say they can do that?
They
Or
won't
are
do
they, they what?
They will not do that,
They won't do that. Why won't they do that?
because they don't offer that service.
They don't collect the street and light, they only collect the property tax.
They only want to collect their property
They want to
tax.
do what
They want to do
that's
their
it.
property tax and that's it. But Joe,
They'll do theirs and ours. They only want to collect property tax, be it their property tax.
understood, right. But Jill, just to confirm again, you're certain, after talking to DevNet, the software can handle additional taxes, let's call them line item taxes, whatever they may be. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, I believe, correct. I think they can put 7 individual lines on the invoices.
What we gotta take in consideration, though, this is the funny part. We're the only municipality not on DevNet, and we're trying to change their system. They're gonna tell us to go pound sand directly.
But, well, the flip side of the coin is, you're gonna have residents who have 2 bills coming in all the time.
But if we inform our residents, everywhere else, I think they're getting 2 bills as well, right?
It's working.
And
No,
if other people would get all these complaints, the county would have got many complaints and probably looked into collecting the other taxes as well. Why are we making this so complicated? That's my question here. Is it because we're used to what we're used to and that's it?
Municipalities that have streetlight and hydrant are not part of the.
Jill, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
What's that?
I think East Cocalico is one of the few or only municipality that does not include streetlights and hydrants within the general real estate tax.
Wait a minute.
I didn't catch that.
Wait, okay.
I think what she's suggesting is that many municipalities pay the costs of maintaining hydrants and streetlights out of the general fund revenues of the real estate tax rather than having a separate tax.
Separate line items.
Most municipalities do that, but there are municipalities in the county that assess an individual street and or hydrant tax. West Cocalico does, West Earl does, Lampeter does.
But then, I think that concern is not all municipalities that have streetlight and hydrants have a tax collector. So the bills will go into 2 separate locations. So the real estate portion would go to the county, and the streetlight and hydrant would go to the township. So the payee for the checks would be 2 separate, which makes it simple.
That's not what she's saying.
You said it makes it simple.
Yeah, but I don't think she's saying it makes it simple to do it that way. That's not what she said. Jill, can you
No.
repeat that?
Right, so majority of the municipalities do not have a tax collector. The ones that do have a tax collector, I have not found one that bills streetlight and hydrant separate.
Warwick Township.
Right, for the township.
Warwick has
So-
an elected tax collector.
Normally, when the
Bills
township has the streetlight and hydrant separate, It is done by the township themselves.
So what you're saying, would the tax collector would be doing it separately, or would the township?
We could,
The township would do it?
we do.
We have all that data because
We provide the data to the tax collector.
that was what Ken was just doing this year, right? Updated it.
Jill, it's RC, can you expand a little bit on what you said about the mortgage companies? What were you referring to?
Now, when the mortgage companies request the information, everything's on one bill. So they pay it based off of one bill, because everything is tracked by the invoice number. So then you would have two separate invoices, two separate invoice numbers. So the mortgage companies have to have additional detail on that. So they would be getting two separate files for some of the mortgage companies in which they request electronic files. So that would be two separate files. So when they go through their individual banks, they're going to be sending two separate files. Those files cannot be combined because they're in two separate systems. So my fear is the mortgage company will only process one file and not both. Then we won't have all the tax requests.
We can only make a recommendation.
Tommy, did you sit with the tax collector and the county and discuss these points?
I suggested that to the county.
Okay,
Maybe not.
the county's not. I'm sorry, say that again.
I suggested a meeting with the three of us at the county.
Okay, but
The county's not willing to see.
It should be taken home soon.
are we still online, Ken?
There it goes.
Yes.
Now we're good.
Sorry for anyone on Zoom, we lost power, generator kicked on. We're still alive.
WGAL had to interrupt their newscast tonight because there's fireworks going on.
I think I heard Tommy said that, talk about a meeting between myself, him, and the county. I'm in favor of that. I have not received an invite, but I am definitely in favor for that.
I think what Tommy said is the county doesn't want to have that meeting.
Interesting.
They were willing to meet with me.
Perhaps we can give it another shot and, before we make a decision, just for conversation, since we have some kind of leeway here. If you want to see, I'm just asking, the board's asking to have the three-way meeting. That way we can figure out, everyone's at the table and everyone hears the same story and can't say this wasn't said or this was said. And that would be my recommendation to you, Tommy, to.
I will do that.
Had you ever talked to anybody at Warwick Township about how they handled this?
No.
I wonder if it would be helpful, since
The talk is about mortgage companies and confusion on their part to just have a conversation with them as well and see if it was a problem or not, or how they handled any kind of changeover when they did that. That seems like it's the sticking point here.
So pardon me, but getting a little bit more technical, but a lot of one of the other main focus for the tax collector is to provide tax certifications. So then I provide proof of whether the taxes were paid or not paid. I have a concern that if the county has access to the payments, they will issue a tax certification, but not all the taxes will be paid. They have already, even though they don't have any payments in their system, they have previously, in the past, issued tax certifications. The reason why I know that is because I get a phone call from the attorney or the resident complaining that I said that they didn't pay their taxes when they did. And I said, well, I didn't get any of that communication, so I know it happens. But if they have access to the payment information and they give a legal representation of a tax certification claiming all the taxes have been paid when they have not, and the deed is transferred, where does that leave the township for getting the rest of that tax money?
As a title agent, you collect that from the county. If the county gave an incorrect tax certification, just as you would collect it from the tax collector if the tax collector gave an incorrect tax certification.
Because that's something that will have to be addressed with the county.
All right, do we want to table this to the next one?
Now I'll speak to the county.
Speak to the county. Joe, Tommy's gonna speak, I don't know if you heard me earlier, this is Lorenzo. Tommy's gonna try to put together a meeting with all three of you guys, that way you guys can hash out whatever needs to be and figure out what's best.
Yeah, I think you need to have a meeting with the subject matter experts, which would be, for us as East Cocalico, the tax collector, and the subject matter expert in my mind, which is the county. And Tommy as a third subject matter expert, and try to figure out what's the best way to do this and what questions are out there. Because I hear a lot of questions right now.
Right. And as long as my schedule permits, I'm willing to go to the county at their building for the meeting. I think this would be much better in person. So as long as I can do no schedule conflict, I am more than willing to go to the county.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Cam Burton. Just a couple questions. Tom, you had said that there were, Lorenzo had asked if there was savings to this. Do you have any idea what the savings would be in this? Secondly, why are we the only ones that haven't been doing it? Was there a reason in the past that we haven't decided to go this route? I'm sure DevNet's been around quite a few years. I'm just curious why previous supervisors or managers decided not to do this.
I can answer that question. Been sitting with the previous supervisors, one of which is behind you, and he can talk to this.
Okay.
Alan, there were extensive complaints when the county was handling some tax collections way in the past. This is what I have heard, and the way that they were handling them and their efficiency in handling them with residents. So they felt it was best to have, and Alan, you can correct me if I'm incorrect here, it was decided in the past that it was best to have our own tax collector to handle it due to the number of complaints.
Okay. And then my last question,
Is that how you feel?
It would also, the street light and the fire hydrant are all in one tax paper. And it simplified it for people, that's why.
okay, and the last question, I was just, if we're talking about savings, I don't know what our current cost is for billing, but if DevNet or the county charges us 75 cents per mailer plus postage, so is that, I don't know what first rate postage is, 25 cents or something like that, I don't know what they charge the county. So it would cost us over $1 per tax billing if we move to DevNet, as opposed to, I don't know what we're paying now to send those bills out. Is it just postage plus time? I'm just curious, if that's what we're looking at for our savings, I was just curious what we're currently paying, just from a budgetary standpoint.
We can get those numbers exactly later.
Well, I don't think you can assume there is a savings until you get some of those questions answered.
Right.
Because by saying, you're saying those are some of the savings. You can't say that yet.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
That's what I'm
Until you get those other questions answered, what are the impacts or no impacts? What I'm hearing, I think, from a mortgage company, possible confusion with a resident, we don't know. Because you know that, how do you put a cost on qualitative
Right.
items such as residents having to call county 3-4 times, like we had heard in the past, and then they call us, but we then tell them to go call the county again.
Right. I mean, we should have an idea of what our current cost is to send that billing out now. We should have that somewhere, so I was just curious.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, moving on. Action items, interfund transfers.
Okay. On the list of bills, we have check payments for the general fund bank account for the week of August 24th of 2023 of $106,006.99. Any question on those list of bills? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
General fund bank account list of bills for the week of August 31st of 2023 in the amount of $8,530.27. Any questions on that list? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And general fund bank account list of bills for the week of September 7th of 2023 in the amount of $36,558.72. Any question on that list? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, and we have a light fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $244.02 for the week of August 31st of 2023. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
And a light fund bank account list of bills for the week of September 7th of 2023 in the amount of $14,228.19. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, and we have an electronic payment list of bills in the amount of $79,509.31 for the pay period of August 13th of 2023 to August 26th of 2023. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. Motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that's the treasurer report tonight.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, action items. We just did that. Informational items. You guys got anything? No? No? business? Anything? I'd like to bring up LERTA. I've been thinking about this for a while now with our LERTA program. I think it was last year that we renewed it for, I think it was 5 years. Our thought process there was we didn't know what was going to kind of happen with construction and all that in this year. Obviously, a lot of our residents here, they keep attending the meetings and they see that we don't have a problem in bringing in people to develop in East Cocalico. I personally think that we should look into maybe terminating it for now, and possibly look at it to target just specific properties in the township that maybe are more difficult to develop, kind of to help the purchaser or whoever's selling their property out, versus leaving it wide open throughout the whole township. As everyone knows, there's plenty of action with our prime real estate for development, and there's a lot of warehouses coming in and trying to develop. But I think we're kind of cutting ourselves short with just leaving it wide open. I didn't know what thoughts my board members have, but I felt like this could be the right time to bring it up for discussion. I can add to that real quick, sorry. I had, prior to bringing it up, I had talked to our township manager about it, and Tommy, you had called the county to see if it was even possible for us to end the program, if it was even a possibility, correct?
I did.
And they told you that we are able to do that if we wish.
Yes.
I guess when the program was extended last year, I was trying to, I guess, create some conversation about when the program should be ended. But at that time, the board was all in favor of going ahead for a long period of time. I agreed to go to vote yes for that as well. I think at that time my thought was every program has its day, and probably every program has its end day. When that is, I wasn't sure. I think it's still a discussion item now. There is a lot of development going on with many housing developments in the process of planning stages, as well as commercial or light industrial projects. So there's a lot of building going on in East Cocalico, or being planned to. So I'm not sure ending it right now is the best idea, but I'd be receptive to the conversation.
Well, this came out of the blue. This is the first I've heard of this. Because I went down to the county office and had the meet. I had the hearing with the county, with the commissioners, with our counselor, and presented LERTA and why we needed LERTA. So now, all of a sudden, it's a 180. I'd like to remind this community of the following, and I will say this. I want someone to guarantee me that this economy is going to continue the way it's continuing for the next 10 to 15 years. I invite anybody to do that. The reason East Cocalico fell behind in many aspects of the development was because we did not move quickly enough, and a lot of those developments went to adjoining municipalities. Period. That's my opinion. That's what happened over in Ephrata. Alan's sitting back there nodding his head. I keep reminding the residents of this community, your infrastructure is aging. It's not getting younger. You've got I believe, over 57 miles of roads that have to be maintained in the future. The infrastructure surrounding those roads. We still have a lot of land in the area that's prime development land that still, for various reasons, does not get developed. As the infrastructure ages, the residents' taxes will be responsible for covering the difference. That's one of the reasons LRTA was put in place, was to try to offset what was missed in the past. And I was not part of putting LRTA in place. I honestly will give that credit to Doug Mackley, Alan Fry, and Noel Fortnite. So we better think long and hard as a community. And you better have the right crystal ball over what's going to happen in this economy, because your infrastructure is aging. And if you take away some of the incentives to offset the taxes, the burden will lie with the community. Because every housing development that's put in place is going to stress the schools. That's where a majority of the taxes are. And we can think as a municipality we don't control the school taxes in a way. We don't, but we do influence them tremendously based off of the pool of the developments that are put in place. Housing developments always overstress the schools. Commercial, industrial does not. So, those are my thoughts.
To answer your question though, when you said East Cocalico lost everything and it went to Ephrata, did they have LRTA in place there?
Ephrata was able to, from the Giant, from what I saw in the newspaper at the time, because I was traveling, so I had people send me the stories. They were able, from conception to groundbreaking, do it within a year.
Tommy, we just had someone trying to put a warehouse in here saying that they would defer part of LRTA or all
Yeah,
of
so
it?
the impression I had for folks looking to do warehouses is this was where they wanted to be. They wanted to be here with the tax break or without the tax break. And it was confirmed when I spoke to the folks at C&D and said, hey, would you go forward if there was no LRTA? And the immediate answer was yes. I think the warehouses will be here with or without taxes. I think something worth considering is retooling an existing LRTA if the board wants to give some tax advantages to the types of businesses that it's going to be a deciding factor. Maybe instead of having your LRTA district include light industrial and the commercial district, maybe it's just a commercial district, because that's going to get you the retail that I've heard from many residents, and I'm sure you have, is in demand. A lot of folks say that we have enough warehouses. Well, what we really like is additional retail. Well, you can have a LRTA that focuses on the district that gives you retail. And I think there's some real value in understanding that the folks that want to build the warehouses in the limited industrial are going to be here with or without the tax break. So if they're going to make the decision to be here with or without the tax break, why are we shortchanging ourselves in our school district by giving them thousands and thousands off in taxes.
Let's not lose sight of the fact also that LERTA was also utilized by many small local businesses. Earth, Turf, and Wood utilized it. There are a lot of small businesses that also utilize it. So it's a tool that works well regardless of the size of the business. And again, small businesses within our own community have utilized it. Now, with that being said, keep in mind, Lorenzo, when we presented to the commissioners, we were clear to the commissioners that our intent was to request an extension of the LERTA one more time, one additional time. That was the additional time we were there. But my concern remains better be right about our strategy and our crystal ball on what happens with the economy. And that this attention, growth rate, and economy continues.
Anything else? I'll continue it at the next time. You can put it on there, put it on the agenda for our next meeting for further discussion. Good?
Yeah, it's going to be a long agenda.
It'll be a long agenda.
Yeah.
Possibly the one after that.
That's good.
Old business. I should ask any questions. Any questions from the public about that? About LERTA? No? Okay. Old business? I got nothing. How about you guys? Public comment. Please state your name for non-agenda items only. Seeing none, we'll move forward. The next Board of Supervisors meeting will be on Thursday, September 21st at 7 at the Township Building. The meeting will be broadcasted also on Zoom, and we meet in executive session. And we will be meeting an executive session after the meeting, but we will adjourn the meeting first.
It's to discuss.
And the executive session is to discuss personnel matters, in specific the police chief position and the collective bargaining agreement. Do I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming out. Have a good night. He said we could.